about I have seen PowerPoint presentations with more tea than this reunion. What's tea, bestie? How you doing? How your edges? How your kids? How that man? Girl, you know we don't give a damn how that man doing, bestie. We have to talk about this Love Island reunion because the way that this could have been an email, I'm talking about I have seen PowerPoint presentations with more tea than this reunion. And while I'm not going to keep you all day, sister, I got a few things to say. We have to talk about a few things. First and foremost, why did they bring everybody back and nobody really had anything to say? Y'all had Zach on that Zoom call, and to be fair, y'all could have had the other Zach, Elan, JD, and all of them teeth right on that Zoom call too. Even Coco. Because Quad is his kept child, Coco had more speaking lines in the reunion than she did for the 2.5 seconds that she was even on the show. Which, when I saw the podcast of her yapping and chatting about Olandria, I did think it was weird because you don't know this girl. And you're talking with all of this conviction as if you really just besties with her or you've been locked in the villa this whole time. So I was actually happy to see Olandria check her the way she did. I'm talking about my girl did a roll call with all of the new villa girls. Clark, did you hear me say? Did you hear me? Oh, okay. Crickets. So why y'all got so much mouth when we get out of this villa? Why do you have so much to say speaking to something that never actually happened when we're on the outside of this villa? It's weird. And I love the way that she checked Vanna too, because girl, what are you doing? Sister, hush, hush. There's 1,000 conversations that should be had, but it shouldn't have nothing to do with Olandria. Please, sister, have several seats. Now, quiet as it's kept, I definitely believe that Brian was out here swiggling and giggling on our good sis Amaya Papaya, because the speed in which Chris said he ain't see nothing, oh baby, I know a toxic nigga when I see one. I know when you lying for your mans. You see what I'm saying? Of course you didn't see anything. Of course your name is Bennett and you ain't in it because you sticking to the bro code. But y'all, word on the social media curve is that Brian and Amaya not following each other no more anyway. So, carrying on. Now, as much as I love Charlie, I definitely felt like Charlie was somebody else who could have very much been on a Zoom call and he did not need to be there in his electric blue boogaloo suit. Like, brother, we really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Love you down, Charlie. Thought Charlie was sweet. And I do agree with Charlie in the sentiment that I felt like they voted him out because he was the fall guy. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely thought Charlie and Hannah had a vibe, especially with all of the theatrics that Hannah demonstrated when Charlie left. But the speed that girl moved on and the fact that at the reunion she was like, no, I'm cool on all of that, it gives that this entire season of Love Island was really just Opportunity Island, and it really wasn't a lot of people there truly for love anyway. The way that Austin pulled up to that reunion looking like he was trying to sell you a 2014 Honda Civic, he could have been on Zoom as well. Listen, all you doing is lying and not standing on business. You played in Jaden's face. She held you accountable for it. You continue to try to lie, but all you do is lie and look unclean. That is the energy that you forever give. The same way that you tried to play in Ace's face and talk smack about Ace, and when Ace held you accountable both in the villa and at the reunion, you didn't have anything to say. You didn't recall all of a sudden. There was no recalling. The recall wasn't available, and that's very convenient of you. But I noticed that everybody who was lying couldn't recall. I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden y'all can't recall. I don't know, sister. I don't know. Now, Huda is somebody who I desperately tried to protect, but she is making it harder and harder to stand in solidarity with because of her corncob behavior. Like, she lied just to lie, and it doesn't make any sense. The whole, I can't talk about my relationship because of Netflix. Girl, please. Netflix subtly said, our name is Bennett, baby. We not in it. We don't have nothing to do with it. Maybe that man made you sign an NDA and told you it had something to do with Netflix, but Netflix did not make you sign no NDA. And the thing about it was so obvious that it was a lie. And then she went on her story on TikTok and just said that she chose not to disclose the information because she didn't want to feel pressure to talk about her relationship. First and foremost, sister, it's Love Island. That's the entire premise of the show. So you had to know that they was going to get in your business. You had to know that. And then you're trying to make it seem like you were a victim, like you were pressured into doing something when you could have just stood on business. You could have just said, I don't want to talk about it, and we're going to leave it at that and move on. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not that you was trying to keep the relationship secret. You've been popping out with the man this whole time. And really, it's given that it ain't nothing but a cute little swiggle and giggle. You know what I'm saying? A cute little little hump and jump. So you don't really want to say that. And I respect that. You do reserve the right to not speak about your relationship if you don't want to speak about your relationship, but you don't have to lie to kick it. Now, in the same breath, Chelly is still a weirdo who dodges accountability. I don't care. I don't care. Huda was not lying. Let me say that with all of my whole chest. When they played that extended clip of the conversation between Huda and Chelly, I was so glad. Because the way that Chelly tried to make it seem like Huda was doing this sneaky, vindictive shit and she wasn't. I had been clocked Chelly from the door. I had been clocked her from the door. So I wasn't surprised. Huda said, hey, he say he like you, but he kind of interested in me. So since we know you choosing Ace, the micro mini man, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explore what it is with Chris. But I am a girl's girl in the sense of if you want to explore him too, boom, bam, pow, it's the gift that keep on giving. And she operated in that energy the whole time. What Chelly needed to do was say the quiet part out loud. Sister, say that you didn't want her to explore him. You should have said, girl, really, you could bring him back over because I do want to explore him because he is fine, but I don't want you to explore him either. Is it chaotic? Absolutely. But at least you owned your chaos. To try to be a victim or make it seem like it was some sneaky shit going on behind the scenes and it wasn't, you don't get no play for that. And while I am on the streak of unpopular opinions as it pertains to Chelly, she dragged that heart rate challenge too. I'm not arguing about it. Listen, her and Ace were not closed off at the time of the heart rate challenge, and quiet as it's kept, they not closed off in real life either, or they're not official. Let me say that. And if we keeping it all the way a bando window, Huda didn't do anything that Chris didn't do to Chelly. Because see, that extended clip did two things. Number one, the extended clip showed that the whole situation really wasn't as big as our imaginations made it seem like. Like, I really thought that Huda put that thing in his face and gave him a taste. I thought that's what she did. But when we turned around, we seen that she was just throwing it back. And as we know, Ace is vertically challenged. So, of course, that thing was already sitting on his chest. But what it did show was Chris putting that whipped cream between shorty legs and licking down there as well. Sister girl legs was in the air and on his shoulders. So I'm confused again. It seems like it's cool when you do it. It's a problem when they do it. That's the energy that Chelly has always given. Even when she started having the conversation with Ace about boundaries and respecting boundaries, it's like, how do you expect to have boundaries with somebody that you won't close off with because you're still trying to explore other connections? So we really just see this theme of Chelly and accountability not getting along. And I don't think that anything in this reunion spoke to the contrary of that. I also never bought into this girls narrative that they were trying to sell us into, because at the end of the day, babes, this is Love Island. This is not Sisterhood Island. This is not Friendship Island. It was always on a case-by-case scenario, because in my unpopular opinion, I think that Chelly and Alandria were able to remain cool the entire time because they were never in competition with each other. They had very different types, so it never got to a point where the point of the game, the competition part, was ever really between them. I would have loved to see if a man came in the villa that they were both truly into, because Alandria did think Chris was cute, but Chris was never into Alandria. And at the time of her meeting Chris, she was still all for Taylor. So before y'all even try that whole Chris conversation, we gonna dead that right there. She showed interest in Chris, and then after they got out of Casa Amora, she never pressed him again. So I'm just saying, is it sisterhood, or are we just cool because it ain't no competition? As much as watching paint dry would have been more entertaining than this reunion, I will say that those extended clips definitely didn't paint Chelly in a good light for anything, because the other conversation about Huda being bullied and Chelly not really being a girl's girl, you really kind of saw that in the extended clips too, because the way that they was all sitting around lightly talking about Huda, and Huda looked over and was like doing the little poses, likely because I can hear y'all talking about me. And unlike Huda, who is non-confrontational, somebody like me who would have been in that villa would have been like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Are you talking about me? I thought I heard my name, but I digress. You know what I mean? Huda played it how she played it. Here you are sitting under your breath saying little snarky comments. You're a mean girl, sister, and that's okay. We just want you to embrace who you really are and stop trying to paint this narrative of it's about sisterhood. You're supposed to be a girl's girl and you're not said girl's girl. That's all I'm saying. This is an equal opportunity channel, and above all things, I'm going to keep it real. And I truly appreciated Chelly and Alandria holding Huda accountable for not calling off her fan base when she saw how they had weaponized and were being wildly racist. The fact that it took you 3-4 days to even do something, make a statement, and you didn't do it right then and there, it really showed that you were aware of what was going on and you just wanted them to fry a little bit because they had bullied you or you felt bullied in the villa. That is my unpopular opinion, but that's what your actions make me feel like was going on. That night y'all got y'all phones back and you saw them girls was under attack, you were supposed to immediately get on with them, all standing in solidarity, making a quick video telling them, listen, I don't condone the hate, even though I appreciate the love. You can love me and not hate them. Something along those lines. And the same is true in reverse when it goes to Chelly and Alandria and the hate that Huda was getting as well. Because what we're not going to do is go racism for racism. Everybody should have came forward and said something telling their fan base to not bully and be racist to the other person. That is just a fact. It's the way that Jeremiah came out with his sassiest creme brulee energy thinking he was going to check Ace, and Ace stood in his place. Ace continued to stand on business, and I still stand with Ace because you are an opportunist. See, the thing about men like Jeremiah, you can tell that at one point when Jeremiah was growing up, he may have been a little bit of a dweeb and not just the most attractive. But then at some point, he started to get fine and he recognized that he was fine. But that dweeb energy is still on his body. So a real one was able to clock his game. What we didn't hear was the conversations that you had with the boys. It was very clear that you were there for the opportunities, but you weren't the only person. Jeremiah wasn't the only person. You just didn't have no game and you came in love bombing. And mind you, I'm not saying that he was love bombing because that's a word that the internet likes to throw around. I truly know the definition of what love bombing is, and I'm going to put it up here, and then I'm going to put in an example of his love bombing.
Love you, bye. Well. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Stop. You good.
I almost said it back.
That whole little fake, oh, I was about to say it back. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You clocked that this was a girl who has some self-esteem issues. She wants to be in love real bad. She needs somebody to love her, and you knew that that was your way in. And because at that moment, there were no other girls in the villa that was your type because you like exotic girls, you were just going to hold on to Huda at all costs. And the second that 2 other girls came in that you felt like would be suitable substitutes, you were on to the next thing, and everybody saw that your behavior with each woman was the same. And while Ace may say that he regrets his decision and it should have been Austin, I still stand by the fact that Jeremiah should have been voted out. But you know, either way, we wish Shorty the best. You know, Clark and Taylor are still Clark and Tayloring. They really didn't have much to say. They could have definitely joined via Zoom as well. No shade, but it's just like, y'all weren't even really that interesting of a couple once y'all coupled up outside of the mess that y'all had going on with Alandria. So we really didn't need y'all there, but I get it. Taylor is an OG Villa boy, so he was there because of that. And as far as Nick and Alandria go, I've said this before, it's giving PR couple, and it still gives PR couple to me now. I'm not really convinced that they're gonna just ride off into the sunset and be in this beautiful relationship. I think that they will be friends, and I think that there is a little bit of chemistry there now because they've just been around each other so much. But am I convinced in this love story that Love Island is trying to force on us? Absolutely not. Obviously, bestie, I want to know what you think about it in the comments. Who is your favorite couple? Who do you think is going to make it to the end? Do you think that this was really Love Island, or was it just a new episode of Opportunity Island? Are you trying out to be on the next season of Love Island now that applications are open? Let me know in the comments. But if you're not done hearing me yap, you already know what to do. You already know what to do, sister. And until next time, love you, bye.